So this is the Telit IoT portal. It's a portal that we use for different kind of products. But right now, today, we want to look into connectivity. So I will click on their connections here, which is where I can find all my SIM cards. This is my demo account. So this is our Telit test SIM cards. Right now, if I click on dashboard, I have a general overview of my SIM card of my deployment. Right now I have 357 SIM cards connected to my portal. 131 are activated and 11 SIMs are in session, so they have a session open right now. I can also see a usage trend for data sessions and SMS in the last 14 days, which helps me identify if I see a little peak, I can quickly identify which day it was and what was the problem or if everything was normal. The high runners here is a very interesting table because that's where you see the SIM card spitting the records of data or SMS. So here's where I see the SIM cards consuming the biggest amount of megabytes. This can be filtered by day, by week, by month. Of course, it depends how often you connect to the portal. If I want to see the details of a particular SIM card, I can click on the blue eye next to it. So now I reach the details of the SIM card, and from this page I can see on what IP it connected the last time, if the status of the SIM is activated, what's the APN, where the SIM is located. I see the IMEI number, the number of the device where the SIM is connected, the ICC ID, so the identification number of the SIM card. This number here, the MSISDN, would be like the phone number of the SIM. From this page, there is an action tool here on the right. From the action tool, you can do different things. For example, if you click on edit, I will make my screen smaller. So from edit, you can, for example, put a name on the SIM card. So if I want to, for example, name this customer A or project B, whatever is relevant for me to name it, then whatever value I will enter here would be shown in the billing report. You can also create tags. So if you want to make a group of SIM cards, for example, then you can just create a tag. This will be relevant in case you want to set up alerts. So I go back to actions, and from here I can also change the status of my SIM cards. I can move on to the next tab where I have usage. So it's simply the usage of the SIM, data, SMS, or voice. This can be filtered from date, hour to date, hour. The information here is not real time. So if I want to see real time, I have here radius. If I click on radius, then I see each session, at what time it opened or it updated. Moving on to the next tab, history is where I find all the changes that were applied to the SIM card and who applied the change, because this portal can be shared internally with your team or even with end customers. SMS, here I see all the history of the SMSs. So this is an SMS that was sent from my SIM card to this portal. This weird number is the phone number of the portal. And I also see the message. What's the message that was sent? Sharing, as I said, this portal can be shared. So you can create like sub accounts to yours where you can assign a group of SIM cards and give that sub account to an end customer, for example, a distributor. If you're working on different projects, then you can have two different support teams, for example, then you can always divide your groups of SIMs like this, so everything is clear. Switch is a very nice tool. Switch is a tool that allows you to switch operators. So for example, in USA with these SIM cards, we can connect to AT&T and T-Mobile. So when you order SIM cards, they come with this communication plan that includes all the networks that we might have. If tomorrow you have a problem with AT&T, my SIM card is right now connected to AT&T, because there is a maintenance on the antenna or whatever problem you might encounter, you can always come here and force the SIM card to switch operator. We normally recommend you power off and on the unit, but you can always try not to do it also, it should work. Remote AT is an option that only works for Telit modules. So some of our Telit modules might work in this on this option in the portal, and it's for you to send 80 commands, for example. For example, here I have the HE910 module, which is a Telit 3G module. So I can, for example, locate the device, send 80 commands to it. But again, it only works with Telit modules and not all of them. I'm going back to my connections page. I can also have another kind of view from the table. So from the table, I can have a list of all my SIMs, and I can define here from the setting rear what's relevant for me to see. So if I don't want to see the ICC ID of the device, but I want to see, for example, custom one, because that's where I entered the name of my customer, then I can just add it here. If I want to see if it has the data usage, then I just enter this parameter here. With the arrows, I push them up and down, and then I save. So now I have my table with the information that I requested. Map is simply a map where you see your SIM cards displayed. So as I said, it's based on cell ID, so it might be a little bit inaccurate, but when you zoom in, you can always have the SIM cards displayed in little dots, and you can always reach out the details page of that particular SIM card. Another interesting functionality we have in the portal is to be found here in developer. We have a functionality called triggers, and it's from where you can set up alerts. So if I select this option here, new from template, we already have a few templates created for connectivity. Here's where I can set up my alerts. In help here, I have a full API reference guide. So for those who needs to connect this portal to their backend system, they can always check our reference guide and understand what language to use to connect the portal to their backend system. From developer, then you can, through the API tester, make your test to make sure everything is working fine before you implement it. In the administration tool here in the setting rear, this is where I can, for example, invite new users to my account. So if I need to give access to my technical support, to my colleagues, even to end customers, I would do it here. Real time, I didn't speak about it because it's simply like the last 5 hours, what happens with my SIM cards, where they're roaming, if they're using some data. So this is for real time. So that's it for me. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to reach out to us.